Hey guys, John Jr. here. I'm bringing you guys another team builder video, this time for week 1 of the WPF. This week we are going to be playing Q, the Costa Rican, who you can check out in the top right hand corner. If you have not already, be sure to join the WPF server down in the description, as well as check out all 16 coaches in the league because we have some really cool people, and we have 3 of those coaches at my house this weekend. I have one sitting beside me, the other 2 are in the other room. They're not going to be here for the match, don't worry, but it's a full house this weekend. While we're here, did you know that only 21% of my viewers are subscribed to the channel? If you are not already, it is absolutely free to subscribe. Helps me out a ton and helps me support. You guys have been showing crazy support recently, especially on the JJDL power rankings that I recently did, so I really appreciate that. But you guys have been showing crazy support, and I would really appreciate it if you guys would go ahead and subscribe and leave a like if you have not already. Both are free and both help me out a ton. Let's go ahead and get into this team builder. Like I said in the draft analysis, this is probably the team that I am the most comfortable with, at least in Gen 9 that I've drafted. It's pretty hard balance with a couple of good breakers like Gengar and Hoopa, and I think building was pretty easy with it. I'll be honest, I had a lot of fun building with this team. It was a little bit of a rush job. I did it recently because I had a very busy weekend. I had a baby shower, I had everybody over for a while, and they're still over, so it's been a hectic weekend, so I had to fit something in there. But I do think that the end result is a pretty solid team. But before that, we're gonna go ahead and talk about Q's team. Q's team is Enamorous Eye, which is free Terra, which is fucking ridiculous. Baxcalibur, Fortress, Hisuian Gudra, Quaquaval, Mesprit, Tornadus Eye, Mousehold, Quillfish, Hisui, Bidops, and Palossand. I'm gonna be honest, an initial look at the team, I wasn't too intimidated. Baxcalibur and Quaquaval are 2 of the scariest mons on his team, but obviously we have Dondozo, which pretty much hard walls those Pokemon. And I was like, Enamorous is a little scary, but we drafted Volcarona for this exact reason. But after looking at it, free Terra Enamorous is insane. I think outside of free Terra Enamorous, our matchup is very, very good. There's not really a Pokemon that scares me too much. I think we have something for pretty much everything. But Enamorous can literally run like 9 different types. It could be fairy, it could be water, it could be rock, it could be flying, it could be just simply fairy. Did I say fairy? I might have said fairy. It doesn't matter. It's ground. It could be so many different types, and all of them make a whole lot of sense in this matchup. It also has so many different sets it could run. It could be agility, superpower, terra, water, physical. It could be calm mind, agility, draining kiss, special. There's too many sets that this Pokemon could run very well into this matchup, and it's almost impossible. It is impossible to prepare for all of them with free Terra. So I'm going to do my best to prep for what I think is the most likely to come, which I think is either physical or special water Terra. I think that is the most likely to beat my Volcarona. You just look at the matchup and it just does the best into this matchup. Whether it be agility, calm mind, whatever the case may be, superpower, I do think it is going to be Terra Water with Terra Blast in some fashion. As far as the Pokemon we are bringing, much like BBR, we're going to start off with our first round pick, as pretty much every week is going to. We're going to bring Zamazenta Crown, probably the best Pokemon in the format that was allowed with this sport. I really truly believe that. So there's almost no matchups where we're not going to bring it. We are rocking Sub, Iron Defense, Body Press, and Behemoth Bash this week with 224 HP, 36 Defense, Impish with 248 Speed. The speed allows us to outspeed the entire team. The HP lets us live 2 Enamorous Moonblast if Terra Fairy, and then we went the rest into defense with a plus defense nature, because Body Press is extremely spammable on this team once this Enamorous Terras, if it is not Terra Fairy, and even if it is, obviously we have Behemoth Bash for that. So Body Press is just really, really free, so I want to boost that up as much as possible. And the whole idea behind this Pokemon is we can get a sub up pretty free on a lot of Pokemon. We force a whole lot of Pokemon out, Baxcalibur, Fortress, Mesprit, and we can get a sub up on those Pokemon and start Iron Defensing up and throw off some mean Body Presses to do a lot of damage. One thing that I do want to note, Mesprit is actually pretty bulky, and it's going to be pretty hard for us to take down with this set in particular. I did think about Crunch in that last slot. I think being able to get a sub up on the Fortress pretty much guaranteed is going to be fantastic, especially if his way to revenge us is some Terra type Enamorous that I'm not expecting. This Pokemon is going to be our win con. I think this is the best way that we can win the game, and I think we can get Zamazenta in pretty freely on a lot of different Pokemon if we want to use this as a breaker rather than a win con, because this and another Pokemon that we're going to talk about later are interchangeable as win cons in this matchup. Our next Pokemon, I think you're kind of silly if you draft a free Terra Pokemon and you don't bring it to a single game. We're going to bring Hoopa-Unbound, and this week we're going to be super lame. We're going to be Terra Dark, and for the simple fact that he does not have a good physical Dark Resist on the team. Enamorous is a pretty good Dark Resist, but it takes 50 from Adamant Hyperspace Fury. Literally 50. We're going to be Hyperspace Fury and Knockoff. Knockoff's going to be good if we force out a switch. Knockoff may be the Fortress item. Gunk Shot just to revenge a potential Enamorous if it is Terra Fairy. And Trick to throw it on something like maybe a Quaquaval, a Mesprit, or a Fortress if we get in a little bit of a sticky situation. Even the Hisuian and Quillfish. We have 8 HP, 180 attack Adamant with 160 defense and 160 speed. We can live a Bax Caliber Glaive Rush if Scarf Jolly, and if he is not Scarf Jolly, we should outspeed that pretty much guaranteed. And if there's no Hisuian Quillfish, I actually want to lead this Hoopa-Unbound because I think it does so well into the matchup. We can outspeed anything that's not under Tailwind, and Tailwind is a very big possibility in this matchup, but I think we have the walls, even if there is Tailwind with Zamazenta and another Pokemon we're going to talk about, I think we'll be okay. And Hoopa's primary purpose this week, its only purpose is to just be a breaker, to open up the team. It is the real only breaker on the team this week that we are bringing, which makes me a little uncomfortable, but I do think that it does that job very, very well because everything takes so much damage from Hyperspace Fury that is not named Hisuian Quillfish, which doesn't have recovery, so I'm okay with that. Our next Pokemon is kind of boring, but it is a Pokemon that must come into Bax Caliber and Coalossal. We're going to have Dozy the Dondozo with Rest Talk, Body Press, and Body Slam Max Fizz Def. Body Slam is a little bit weird. Body Press is obviously there for Bax Caliber. Body Slam is there to bait Paras, to not let things like Enamorus potentially set up on us, because I have no idea what Terra type it is going to be 100%. So I want to go with a neutral coverage for most things. Like, there's nothing on his team that would appreciate getting paralyzed, even the Fortress. So I enjoy getting that Body Slam off, not for damage, but for the para. We're just max Fizz Def with the Rocky Helmet to catch Coalossal U-turns to catch the Bax Caliber because Banded Glaive Rush cannot 2-hit KO us, and it's a very scary Pokemon, and this is some type of way to mitigate it. This Pokemon is not here for any other reason than Bax Caliber and Coalossal. The next Pokemon, and the only way that we have any chance of checking this Enamorus, is going to be our Volcarona, which I literally picked up for moments like this for the strong fairies of the format. Enamorus is one of those, and it did not get rock coverage, which is why I picked up this Pokemon. However, it does have Terra. It has access to be able to Terra Water, to Terra Rock, to Terra something to destroy our Volcarona, and that's what I anticipate him to be. We're just going to be a very fast set this week with Morning Sun and QD, Fiery Dance, and Giga Drain, 48 HP, 72 defense, 128 special attack, 240 special defense, calm, and 20 speed. We can let a max special attack Moonblast crit into a Terra Water Blast Water from a special Enamorus. We have prepped this for a special Enamorus, and we can obviously Quiver Dance in that thing's face. We can outspeed a max speed Gudra, we can live a Bax Caliber Glaive Rush, and then we went the rest into special attack. There are a lot of Pokemon that let us set up with this Volcarona. Obviously, before this Volcarona has any chance to win the game, Bax Caliber is going to have to be chipped. So going into this game, I'm using this more as a breaker and an Enamorus check than a win con. That's why I like Zamazenta as the win con a lot more, because I think Zamazenta is a whole lot more reliable than this Pokemon. But if for some reason Bax Caliber doesn't come, or he lets Bax Caliber get chipped or dead way too early, Volcarona can go crazy late game. Our next Pokemon, and these first 5 Pokemon I think were mandatory on this team. I do not think there was any ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think we had to bring these 5. We're going to bring Lumps, the Coalossal, with Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin, Flamethrower, and Rock Tomb. Stealth Rock is obviously very, very good against his team. Rapid Spin is necessary against Fortress, Spidops. So all these hazard setters, we need Rapid Spin, especially when we have Pokemon like Hoopa-Unbound, which is Scarf, and our Zamazenta, which cannot wear boots. We need that Rapid Spin. Flamethrower is there just for the Fortress, because this can come in on the Fortress pretty easily and get those spin away, and obviously offensively pressure it. And then Rock Tomb is just going to be for speed control. If we are in a position where hazards are gone and we can make a double and we're in on the Fortress or something, we can click Rock Tomb and lower something speed. Our EVs are going to be 152 HP, 248 defense with a bold nature, and then 108 speed. We can outspeed a 24 speed Fortress, and we can live 2 non-investive Fortress Earthquakes. So we should pretty handedly outspeed the Fortress unless they get a Rapid Spin off, and should be able to take care of that Pokemon, get a Rapid Spin of our own off, whatever we want to do. This Pokemon is here for the Fortress and to keep hazards away, because I do think that Spidops is very bringable against us, and only if Spidops is brought will this Pokemon be led. We will lead Coalossal if Spidops is brought. And then lastly, this slot I debated back and forth for a long time between Gengar, who we did not bring because I wanted another breaker alongside Hoopa, and I thought it would be really cool next to it. Didn't have a great Shadow Ball resist besides Hisuian Quillfish, who was already pretty pressured with the Hoopa-Unbound. Didn't bring that. Instead, I ended up bringing a bulky pivot in Rillaboom, who is here to help mitigate what I really wholeheartedly believe will be the Terra Water Enamorus. We're going to be AV to mitigate if he is a special set. Obviously, Rillaboom doesn't have bad Fizz Def if they are a physical set. We have U-Turn, Drum Beating, Drain Punch, and Knockoff. So if they do not Terra, then yes, we are in a little bit of a sticky spot, but they should pretty much always Terra. If they don't, we can U-Turn on them pretty easily. Drum Beating is just really good stab. U-Turn is obviously here to be a pivot. Drain Punch for the Hisuian Gudra, as well as to catch a potential back switch in, and then Knockoff is just going to be really, really good into this team. If there is Hisuian Quillfish, we are going to lead this Pokemon. If there is no Hisuian Quillfish, we are going to lead Hoopa-Unbound, and if there is a Spidops, we are going to lead Coalossal. So we have 3 potential different leads in this game. We are 16 HP, 164 attack, 44 defense, 32 special defense, and 252 speed Jolly. We are unfortunately max speed Jolly to speed tie a potential Quaquaval Evolve, which I do think could come into play, and I think it's very important that we do that. We can live 2 Enamorous Moonblast after rocks, and we can live a superpower into another superpower from a physical Enamorous, and then we went the rest into attack. And obviously the big draw from Rillaboom, the big takeaway, is going to be Grassy Surge with a non-leftovers Dondozo, and the obvious Zamazenta that does not have leftovers is going to be huge. And Rillaboom itself doesn't do great in this matchup, but it offers enough to where I think I can get into like Volcarona on a Forretress or Dondozo on the Baxcalibur. It offers enough to where I think it was worth bringing, just because Grassy Surge, it forces me not to run leftovers on Dondozo. It helps my Chloe, my Zamazenta out a whole lot. I think that it's a really good fit for the last slot. That is going to be the first team for WPF. We are going to be bringing a pretty hard balanced team, which is what this team is going to be most weeks, with a good breaker in Hoopa-Unbound. I think this team can do wonders. I think Enamorous could potentially spank us, but I think that's really the only way that I could see us losing this matchup, is if he just brings the right Enamorous set. There's not a whole lot we can do because of the free Terra, but if we prepped well enough for what I think could come, which is the Terra Water Enamorous, then I think we could take away this game. Let me know what you guys think down below. I am uploading this on Wednesday, and the matches are going to be on Friday, so it's a little bit different than BBR because I don't want the team builders or the matches to overlap. So be sure to check out this match on Friday, and thank you guys so much for watching. And for now, guys, this has been John Jr. signing off.